Well, hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Feeling Smarter, live from Brisbane. Tim.
Live from Brisbane.
G'day, how are we?
I'm well. You know, our hair's a bit frizzy because we're up in the humidity.
Yes, very much so. So we are here recording on day 3. We have finished both of our sessions. We actually finished a day and a half ago, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But I thought today we just touch on your session that you did, which was around contributions. Maybe you can sort of kick things off and highlight some of the key areas that you looked at, because naturally contribution opportunities were a big thing here, and also we saw the confirmation of the concessional cap and therefore the non-concessional cap increase from $27,500 up to $30,000.
Yeah, so that was one of the key messages from my presentation, was that in light of the caps being indexed to 30,000 and 120, how that changes the dynamic of the bring forward, being that you go up to 360, but those that are potentially captured at the moment, having previously triggered the 330, have to wait until their existing bring forward period expires before they can start to utilise the new cap. But probably more the key message from what I was talking about was that a lot of us are well aware of the contribution strategies that exist: carry forward, unused, concessional, salary sacrificing, contribution splitting, and many others like that. But what I was trying to really sort of send the message about was that contribution strategies, you don't use them just for the sake of using them. You need to really identify the family dynamic. Is it a single member fund? Is it a couple? Is it a couple with no kids? Is it a blended family? Because if we're looking at blended families, are things like recontribution strategies and spouse contributions, are they appropriate?
Yeah, and one of the other things that you touched on, of course, and you did mention it there, is the flow-on effect with the non-concessional limit growing, and therefore we also need to understand the impact that has on our ability to make contributions, because the general transfer balance cap didn't index, but we have seen ultimately adjustments because of that concessional cap increase. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's one of the key things. And you're correct, we didn't get an indexation of the general transfer balance cap, but I guess we could argue we did, because we got a double indexation last year. So we skipped 1.8 and went straight to 1.9. So it aligns quite nicely in that regard. But yeah, it does have an impact because it lowers the balance thresholds. So 1.68 used to be the bottom threshold before you could qualify for the carry forward amount or thereabouts, I think it was. Now it's 1.66. So, there are, or from the 1st of July 2024. So, there's different flow-on effects for it, and it will impact people differently. So it's really that they need to be aware of where they sit in the contribution spectrum.
Yeah, and I guess finally, as we wrap things up here, it just goes to show that when you're making contributions, there are so many junctions where they intersect, isn't it? So you were highlighting obviously things like the unused concessional cap, but that could be also interacted with things like contribution reserving.
Yes.
We are in our 5th year around the unused amounts, and so planning all these things become important, but coupled with the fact that you said you need to understand the broader spectrum of the client and the client's circumstances to work out, well, where is the right junction where we interpose this strategy with this strategy and go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. And like you're saying, I think that's a classic one, the unused carry forward, contribution reserving, and then chuck in contribution splitting with that, and the potential to split more with the spouse. So it's how you put all of those sorts of strategies together. And I think one of the things that we're going to do as part of our series, Aaron, is it was such a fun presentation that I didn't have time to answer the questions, and I got a lot of questions. And so I think we're going to, over one of the coming weeks, is sit down and go through some of those questions, because I'm sure a lot of our viewers will also have those questions.
Yeah, and same happened obviously in my session as well. So you're not only going to hear about contributions, you're going to be hearing about a whole range of things that both Tim and I covered. In addition to that, if you want to hear a bit more from us too, whilst we might be in Brisbane now, we will not only be back in Brisbane, but we'll be in Melbourne, Sydney, Adelaide and Perth as well for our SMSF Day events between the 13th of March to the 27th. So if you are not registered yet, take the opportunity, visit our website, smartersmsf.com/SMSF Day, and you'll hear from the two of us as we cover all the latest issues naturally impacting self-managed super funds. Great to catch up, Tim.
You too, Aaron.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye for now. Bye.